Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I didn't really get a whole lot of chance to go out and do anything and see anything interesting this weekend because I really wanted to kind of spend some time on the yard. I really couldn't do a whole lot last week because we got that rainstorm and it kind of flooded everything out. Well, things have dried out a little bit and I want to continue on with this because this has taken too long, I think. Alright, so this is the planter area as it exists. As you recall, I put a spike in the ground here, in the center point here, and used that to create a radius to go all the way around. At this point, I've gotten the first two levels of half of the wall of the thing done. I actually got it three levels here, but these bricks here will eventually go there when I get to that point. But you'll recall initially early on what I did is I rototilled the bottom half of this and moved all the dirt over here so that I could excavate out here and place all these in place. Well, I didn't do the back end of the yard, so this is a good 10 inches or so taller. So I got to get in here and rototill now that I can't go any further here because I'm starting to run into the wall, and that's going to make it hard to tell what my heights and distances are and all that stuff. So next step has been, of course, I've been moving all the dirt that was here over to this side of the yard because now it's going to stay here until the final stage, and I still got a little bit more of the wall to do here. Or a little bit more of this pile to do here to get over here, and then like I said, I'm going to go in and rototill all this out until it's kind of the same level as here. I know it probably doesn't look like much on camera, but kind of right back about there the soil level rises about 10 inches, so I got to excavate basically 10 inches of soil all the way out of here and move it over to this side. Now I've actually restrung the wires again, just so you can kind of get an idea how this is all going to work. Because it'll start here on the walkway. There'll be a couple of steps up into the planter because I figure at this point we'll probably be 3 steps higher than this, 3 bricks higher than that. So it'll probably be about that high. I know you can't really judge that, but that's probably a good 12 to 14 inches higher than it currently is. We'll fill it all in with soil. And I'm going to put railroad ties along where the yellow lines are here. So everything in here will be walkway, everything in there will be elevated planter. All of that junk soil is going to get put into here and used to rise this area up. So I definitely got room to use all of it. Now I'm going to have to be careful over here because I'm going to have to excavate down to where the sprinkler heads again are and figure out where all the plumbing for that is. Because I don't want to hit that with a rototiller. That wouldn't be a good thing. And so got to dig all these out. I had these all excavated down to the point where I could kind of see, where the plumbing was coming in. I think this one's kind of coming in from this way, and probably this one goes out that way. I don't know. I got to dig down and find out, because I got to know if I'm going to be going through here with a rototiller. I got to know where I can and can't run to avoid damaging anything. I also know that I have 2 sprinkler lines that are obsolete. One of them here has gotten buried. I don't even know where it is. We'll no doubt find it when we rototill. And the other one there is right there. It's still sticking out of the ground. So that goes back there somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Doesn't seem to be being used because I've run the sprinklers multiple times now and have not seen anything that's not running. So like I said, I found 2 anti-siphon valves under here also, and they, good thing, weren't being used because otherwise I would have had some repair work to do. But who knows, there may be more stuff under here too. I know that at one point before the pool was here, they probably had to put sprinkler irrigation in here, and so like I said, they just managed to leave it all in there, disable it and leave it in there, and leave it in there as a prize for me to find. So anyway, like I said, each of these is going to be a quadrant with a tree or something in it. I realized when I was going around here putting the bricks in the first place that I was going to have to get power into here. And I haven't really figured out how I'm going to tap into the electrical system there. I got some ideas, and but I figured, when I'm here with the, building the wall here, I need to get something to tunnel under that before we get the bricks in there, because it's going to be a lot easier to put it in the ground before the bricks are in place than after. If I have to tear the bricks down to get in there, that's going to be a problem. So I just kind of tunneled under here. I've got a piece of plumbing that goes here, goes underneath the bricks, and it comes up here. And this is going to be the main power hub for the whole thing. I'm going to bring power up into here, and then I'm going to have to create a network of plumbing, of electrical conduit going to each of the 4 quadrants, because I'm going to want to have lights in several locations in each of the quadrants. So there's going to be a big distribution hub here feeding to all 4 of the sections in the yard to get the power where we need it to be to light up all the stuff that we're going to put in here. So like I said, this is still a work in progress. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out yet, but a lot of work to do on it here. Ultimately, I'll get all the brains and the power in here, and then I'm going to get one of those, looks like a landscape rock, but it's hidden. It's just like the outer shell of one, something you can hide something underneath it, and I'm going to basically hide all that here, and that'll keep it dry and keep it hopefully out of sight and enable it to power everything. And I've already got it kind of figured out for the plumbing. There's like 9 sprinkler heads that are in here that I've identified, and I want to have at least 2 of them in each of the quadrants. So I've got 2 here, I got 2 here. There's another sprinkler head right here that I'm probably going to disable. There's one there, which is the 2 for this quadrant, and then there's one there, and I don't know, I think there's another one in here somewhere. Maybe I buried it. But there's another one in this section here somewhere. And like I said, we'll get those all routed up so that they feed the individual quadrants, so that we can keep the sprinklers going right now. Right now, the ones that are where I've excavated, I've just put it on these big, long extendo poles here, because what I'll do is when we get to the point where we're actually ready to do it, we'll cut this off and route it over to wherever it is we need, and do that with the rest of them. And then I'll still have the top piece that I can use for the actual sprinkler head when we're doing the actual rise up into the at the soil level. So yeah, that's where we're going here, and I've been thinking about this for a while here. I've got these paving stones that have been in the ground here for a while here. Basically, they went to this spot right here on the pool, and this is where, like, the strainer and the pump release, or the pump, the strainer for the filtering the pool water, and all the control valves and knobs and stuff are right here. And so they had that here. But ultimately, I think what I want to do is we're going to have a step down here, kind of like we're going to have on all 4 of the corners here. And I want to have something that's going to go basically over to the front gate. And so we'll have to redirect that. I don't know if we'll use these or we'll get something new, but that's another plan. Ultimately, I think on this exit over here, I'm thinking maybe having a path that goes back here to the garden area. I'm not doing anything in the garden area, and I tend to let this area overgrow a little bit. This is Flash's habitat, so this is a perfect place for her to hide. So I don't usually mow back here very often, maybe once or twice a year, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Have something going back here to the garden so that that's kind of all attached together. And then this one, I think, will just kind of step down into the yard, and may not have any place to go. Like I said, I'm looking at this as kind of a starting point. I could see me making little islands all over the yard and kind of phasing out the lawn a little bit. I did these things in my house in California, and I thought they really looked good. I thought they added value to the property, and I think this is going to look really amazing when it's done too. But like I said, we got to figure this all out and decide how it's all going to go together, and build from here. Because like I said, you know, this isn't something that I absolutely needed to do. This is something that, like, you know what, I wanted to do a big project with what's left of the pool. We're not going to use the pool anymore. Let's do something else with it. And you know what, the desire to do things like this isn't going to stop when this is done. There'll be other projects too. So like I said, we may end up building several smaller versions of this elsewhere in the yard, and you know what, that'll keep me going for years to come. So basically what's on the agenda for the rest of this day is to get the rest of this pile moved over to this side. And then once that's done, then hopefully next weekend we can bring the rototiller in here and get this all torn up and start finishing up from this side here. Like I said, this is going to look really cool, but got a lot of work ahead of me. So anyway, let me get on with that. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.